so obviously we had this whole situation back at the beginning of December, end of November as well, where we lost water for 5 days. So between that scenario and this scenario, it's cost us anywhere between £20,000 to £25,000.
Is the water flowing?
It is.
Hooray!
Yeah, it's quite nice to actually have a basic necessity to work.
Yeah, fair enough. So have you been without water throughout all this time since Saturday?
Yeah, we got turned on for about 12 hours on Wednesday, and then it went off again, and then that's when they've released this big plan that they were going to keep us off for like 36 hours to allow the reservoir to fill up enough that they could then keep supplying us with a constant flow.
Yeah. Now, our listeners are smart people. They'll have pieced together that the Abergavenny Arms is in fact a pub. How have you gone about running a pub with at best an inconsistent water supply?
As soon as you don't have water, you can't operate. You've just got to close. There's nothing you can do. Health and hygiene is you're between a rock and a hard place. There's physically nothing you can do. Your bills keep coming in, staff need paying, and you can't make any money.
So have you lost money as a result of this?
Yeah, so obviously we had this whole situation back at the beginning of December, end of November as well, where we lost water for 5 days. So between that scenario and this scenario, it's cost us anywhere between £20,000 to £25,000.
And you can't just make that up. That's a lot of money. We've already been talking this morning about things like business rates, etc. That is just 25 grand that's disappeared now.
Yeah, and for a sector which is massively struggling, it really does not help at all.
Yeah. What have you been told in this period, James, about why the water supply has been off, why it has been interrupted? How has the information been?
Oh, it's been a different story every 12 hours almost, which is the most hilarious part of it. This latest one, when they turned us off for 36 hours from Wednesday through to this morning, they said they were going to drop water off to everybody. About 50% of the residents got it, and the other half just didn't get anything.
That is absolutely awful. That's so bad. Is there any suggestion of compensation? I mean, you won't see that 25 grand from the likes of South East Water, who pay their boss hundreds of thousands of pounds a year, will you?
Well, it looks like there's some scheme the government have managed to get South East Water to agree to, where they are looking to potentially cover any loss of earnings for all our small businesses in the area. Up to 2.5 mil, I think they've got a budget for.
Okay. I wonder if that'll go anywhere close, because it's kind of 30,000 homes. It'll be hundreds of businesses, if not thousands of businesses, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. That 2.5 million, I'm sure, will get eaten up very, very quickly.
Yeah. So, just to confirm, James, is everything kind of working normally? The taps are running, the shower's on, whatever, is it all happening?
Everything works so far. Staff are all in, everything's flowing. So, we'll see how long we're on for this time. Last time was 5 weeks, so see how long they can last this time.
Well, James, how about this? James is the landlord of the Abergavenny Arms, and he's got 25 grand to make up. So if you fancy a pint and you're near Tunbridge Wells, why not get, I don't know, do you do burgers and stuff, James? Get some food as well?
Yeah, we did the whole range, proper good old pub classics.
There you go. 25 grand, head to James's pub, the Abergavenny Arms in Tunbridge Wells. Thank you, James. All the best.
No worries. Take care now. Thank you.
Good to speak to you. That's James Murphy in Tunbridge Wells. Let's speak then to Professor Carolyn Roberts, an independent water and environment consultant. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, Callum.
It's good to speak to you. James highlighting there the fragility of his water supply and indeed thousands of others in that part of the world. Can you help us understand why? Why have they had such drastic problems these last few weeks?
Well, I think this is part of a much larger problem. It's UK's water supply. There's two parts to it, the clean end and the dirty end. So what's been experienced in Tunbridge Wells recently is problems with the clean end, which actually usually is rather better placed than the dirty end, the sewage treatment end. First of all, we have an increasingly variable, chaotic climate, and that's been part of the issue on this occasion. But that's been coming a long while. And I think we need to look much further than that to understand really the problems with our water infrastructure. I mean, they stem, obviously, as I think most of your listeners will be aware, from a lack of investment over many, many years. We decided way back now to privatise our water industry. The impact of that has meant that a lot of money has gone away from investment in improving pipes, maintaining pumps and reservoirs and so on, and has gone to shareholders, many overseas, and as you hinted there, Callum, a relatively small amount to individuals. in these companies, the leaders in these companies. So the problem is very varied indeed. We could sort this out. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We could sort it out. It's not rocket science. It's simply lack of investment.
Yeah, and that's it. That is the bottom line in more ways than one, I suppose. How then can we learn lessons as to how to compel water companies to invest? I'm just trying to understand how private companies can almost be forced into that. Is it about increasing punishments, for example? Is there something we can learn from, Professor Roberts, where we can learn how to make this thing work?
Yes, I mean, organisations, there are regulatory organisations, Ofwat and the Drinking Water Inspectorate, and they do periodically impose fines. There have been far more on the sewage treatment end than there have been on the drinking water end. But the amount that you would have to fine these companies to actually make a dent in their finances is truly massive, and that's not really been done. I mean, I'm involved in a legal case myself at the moment, involving water companies and sewage treatment. And we're going after £1 billion. But even that, and it may not succeed, even that is probably not going to be enough to make them change their behaviour.
Yeah.
I think it's really an ownership issue. I mean, when I was teaching, I used to teach undergraduates, and I used to say to them, well, let's imagine I said to you, I'm going to privatise the air. And if you can't have it, if you can't pay for it, you can't have it. Now, we'd be appalled. Nobody has suggested that quite that for the water industry, and it's not quite as simple for the water industry. But it makes you think, I hope, about what is an appropriate way of owning and managing what is an absolutely essential resource. And without it, as your previous commentator running the pub in Tunbridge Wells commentated, we're back to medieval times pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah. Is there any estimate, crucially, Professor, about how much it would cost to make the system work properly? So we talk about investment. What sort of cost are we in the ballpark of here?
Well, the truth of the matter is that nobody knows.
Yeah.
Estimates have varied hugely. At one end of the spectrum, we've got people saying, it would be about £5 billion to sort it out. At the other end of the spectrum, people are saying it would be £105 billion to sort it out. So actually, we don't really know. And it depends also what you mean by sorting it out. There will always be unexpected outages of water treatment. You can't run something perfectly minute by minute forever. But so there's a level of risk that we have to be able to put up with, and obviously the amount of risk will determine the amount of risk we're prepared to accept will determine the amount of investment that's needed to keep us all healthy and happy.
Indeed. Professor Carolyn Roberts, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Callum.
Great to speak to you. Carolyn is an independent water and environment consultant. Worth noting that Ofwat will be investigating South East Water because of these disruptions that we've been discussing this morning. It's going to look at whether the supplier has breached its licence, and it could result in a fine of up to 10% of the company's turnover. South East Water had revenues of £285.5 million last year, so the fine could be around £28.5 million if it's found it's not complied with its customer service obligations.